And there's a big matchup. Sammy Fisher, he's been out with that hammy for a fair while. Back in the last few weeks, and he gets Buddy Franklin.
Yeah, he looks to have him deep. I wonder when Buddy comes up and plays higher whether it'll be the same matchup. Not so sure. Here's Jack Stephen stumbling over his own feet. They have been ultra impressive, St Kilda. In the second half of this year, Alan Richardson and his coaching staff have got them playing some inspired footy.
They have. Nick Riewoldt a little bit sore getting up there from that contest. The champ's been on fire, but he didn't like that contest. Still sore behind the plate.
That's his dodgy knee, I reckon.
Jack Stephen. Now Akers. Gee, that's a good kick. McCartan on the lead. That's a wonderful kick.
That's a perfect kick. There's Nick Riewoldt, a little bit ginger with his knee. He'll be okay. He knows how to put up with injuries, Nick. This is a perfect kick to a leading forward, because when it's down that low, there's nothing Grundy can do, Lingy. When he dives into the ball, Grundy can't spoil that.
Great to see Paddy McCartan back out there playing. He's had his concussion issues throughout this season. In good form. Kicked 5 in the VFL last week. McCartan, this is a perfect way for him to start the game.
It is indeed. Inside left goal post here, Paddy. That is magnificent. That is absolutely perfection from Paddy McCartan.
And all his teammates get around him, Lingy, because he's been out. He's had his issues with the concussion, as you said. And they just want to see him out there. He's going to be a star. He's a beautiful mark. He knows how to time his leads, as we saw there. Big future at this club as a leading forward.
Justin Smith, the umpire there. Matthew Nichols and Craig Fleer tonight. So this is the great action. Paddy McCartan not laying back on the ball, getting through it. And this is a man that, boys, earlier in the week was bitten by a spider while sleeping, and his arms swelled up the size of a watermelon.
Are you serious?
Really? In bed, lives with a couple of his mates in Webster and Membry, and obviously they don't do a lot of cleaning at home if you've got spiders crawling around in the bed.
Oh, no.
Like Paddy did. Redback, I don't know, funnel web, whatever it was, it went snap.
Gee, can't take a trick at the moment. Paddy McCartan, he's been knocked out in a few games and now copping a spider bite. Well, he'd be happy to get that goal under his belt.
They got control of it. One stage he may not have played, but I think the antibiotics worked in the end. And he's with us today. In amongst it, Gresham. Parker. He one of their representatives surely in the All-Australian side. McVeigh took him on. Akers. Towers. On to Jack. Little inching ball. It was good, and Richards has taken the mark. This is Xavier Richards.
Yeah, another beautiful kick to a leading forward. So good style of footy we've seen early in this game. Richards not going to take a lot of time. He's got his routine. He's going to stick to it.
Yep, very quickly and swiftly approaching the goal, and why not? So Richards gets the goal for Sydney.
Almost as though Xavier Richards then, as part of his routine, doesn't want to think about it too long. Just gets himself far enough back off the mark to give himself room and then just go for it.
Yeah, if that's your routine, Lingy, stick to it. I think any goal kicker has to stick to their routine, whatever it is. Don't chop and change depending on the situation. Do what you do, and that's what he obviously does. Works for him.
This is true Sydney Swans play from here. Hard tackling, create the turnover. A couple of quick hands and then a clever kick by Kieran Jack. Just lowered his eyes, allowed Xavier Richards to run under the footy. And he went back and slotted it nicely.
Sydney looking to accrue as many wins as they can. Top end of the ladder is up for grabs for them. Jack, smother by Stephen, partial. Spills to Hanbury. Looking for the give and go, didn't follow up the run through, got it in the end though. Got such great awareness and vision. McVeigh, around one, Riewoldt with the mid-air smother. Back to McVeigh, took him on. Allaire, he's a good kick. Decides to handball. Gary Rowe on the target. Strength, did well. And Robertson used the leg to block the shot.
Yeah, did well then, Robertson. That was a goalkeeper-like reaction from him to get a touch on it, force it through for a behind. It was well played by Rowan, though.
I think St Kilda at the moment, Lingy, are as well structured and have a game plan that their players have agreed to and are following it as good as anyone in the comp almost.
Absolutely to the letter, BT. You're right. This is that effort by Robertson. Fine little save there. We saw some great saves in the Matildas game today at the Olympics. That was right up there with it. But you're right, BT. They're really well structured. They play with a frenetic pace and attitude in defence and attack. It's good to watch. It'll be exciting to be a Saints fan at the moment.
Smith at the back helped out. Now Lloyd.
It's going to be interesting tonight. Sydney really know how to suffocate a team, stop their run. Two contrasting styles. It's going to be intriguing how pans.
McVeigh long, Heaney elevates. Been in good aerial touch, Heaney, but Hickey didn't get back from the mark enough. Puts his teammates under the pump here. Seb Ross will have to get rid of it quickly. He does. Robertson, game 100. Hanbury steals it. And then a slicing ball to Jack.
And this is what they do so well. They get it into their forward half of the ground. They average 58 inside 50s. And they're one of the best intercept teams in the competition. They intercept it all. Every player can intercept the footy. They all have a crack at it, and they lock it in their forward half.
15 gone.
Bit of a hush over Etihad. Jack inside left goal post. And that's pretty good. Sydney have got their second.
So a nice intercept from Hanbury and the quick kick inboard to Jack, and that was a beautiful shot at goal. So the Swans have got their game going early. 3 inside 50s to 1. The Saints had that first one with a nice goal to McCartan, but it's been all Sydney from that point on. You've got to win the clearances against this Swans team. Get it moving forward first.
Well, this one here, this is a lesson for any young kids. Nick Riewoldt just waiting for the footy there. Dan Hanbury cutting it off beautifully, and that's that intercept that set up the goal. Goes to show even after 317 games, you can forget one of those little simple things. Always go at the ball.
Gee, Hickey, good form, isn't he, Ross? The combination clearance there, Bruce. Turned around here by Grundy. Now Hewitt. Back again, Sydney under a little bit of pressure here. This is where St Kilda have been excellent. Applying the pressure and forcing that sort of action. Gresham now. He's a very talented youngster. Out wide, and this is the man. That is a danger in terms of getting a lot of the footy. Armitage.
Yeah, just whacked it in there. That kick wasn't directed to anyone in particular. Nice intercept. Didn't get onto it beautifully, but Armitage just found himself in the right position.
Approaching his 150th game, 148th game here tonight. David Armitage. Within comfortable kicking range. That looks pretty good as well. So it's just goal for goal. 2 apiece here tonight.
Great goal there from David Armitage.
Straight back, boys. Get out of the way. My ball.
Straight back, said the umpire. Get out of the way. Get out of me way.
Straight behind.
Clear call this time from umpire Craig Fleer.
Holding Sydney. Way out of here, Blake. Thank you.
So this will go to Nan Curvis.
Play on.
McVeigh letting possession get her on the ground. Touch number 6 for him in the opening 6 minutes. Not bad. Heaney kept it alive. Papley. Spearing ball, Montagna over the top, Towers to tidy it up, Hewitt, sneaky little handball, Nankervis to the goal square, Akers.
Isaac, another metre back, thank you.
You mentioned Jared McVeigh, BT, the leading possession on the ground with 6 disposals. The Swans love him having the ball in his hands. He's one of those beautiful kicks of the footy. They've lined up a few across half-back now, the Swans, to get their best ball users coming off half-back to try and set up their play. It's the way they really like to structure their offensive ball movement.
Yours.
A little bit of a sloppy kick there. Ross had to go and get it. Puts Riewoldt under pressure. This would be an advantage here. Weller loves to run. Nice ball. Membry cut off. Bit of help there from Cunningham was impressive.
There's that intercept play again from the Swans. They're so good at it in their back half. All their defenders are good intercept players.
Yeah, Richo, and the St Kilda, they obviously move the ball quick. Swans are aware of that. They're playing man-on-man. Rather than opening up the zone where they can cut them apart, they're going man-on-man all over the ground, the Swans.
I think the Saints are almost trying to bait the Swans into going quick. They know against St Kilda that they don't want to go quick.
Yeah, they'd like to lock it down in the contest, the Swans.
And Curvis, the intended target. Hickey did well.
The Swans have been good at this ground, BT, as well. They've won their last 9 games here. They like the tighter confines of Etihad Stadium, the Sydney Swans.
As this ball's about to get thrown in, look at one of the matchups there. Tom Mitchell and Jack Stephen lining up on each other. Mitchell has done a number of those roles this year really well, where it's not a hard tag. He goes and finds the footy himself, but he certainly puts a lot of time into dangerous opposition midfielders.
Both ball magnets. Here comes McCartan, but in front, Membry. Just fell short, that footy. A lot quicker than Grundy thought it was going to fall. Well, so, Richo, you mentioned this guy's been impressive, and he has.
He's been super impressive, and he'd love to play well tonight, obviously, against his old team.
Only 6'2" in the old scale.
And that was just a good move he put on there. Flipped Grundy around, came back at the football. He's good for 3 goals a game, and he can kick a bag. He's kicked 4 bags of 5 this year. What a great return for him.
39 goals he's kicked. Tim Membry. And that's pretty straight as well. Good goal kicking here tonight. Saints have got 3 straight. Membry gets the 3rd of those St Kilda goals.
Good start by the Saints. Doing exactly what they needed to do. Moving the ball quick when they can. Putting a lot of pressure on the Swans. And it is a beautiful set shot at goal from Tim Membry. He's been in really good form, as Richo and BT were just talking about. When he gets his chances, he doesn't often miss them. Very nice set shot.
Ball's going to come straight back, all right?
So he loved that. Tim Membry on fire last week against Carlton. Well, she was all over that before the game, but he's a real find. When you've got Bruce and Rewalt down there at times and McCartan, Membry can get off the loop, I reckon. He can be the one that gets out. He's that little bit shorter. He might be the one that gets an opponent he can get hold of.
Richo, it's really similar to the Adelaide forward line where you got your Tex Walker, Jenkins, these type of guys. If 2 or 3 dangerous tall forwards go through, and they can get great mismatches like the Saints have got the ability to do now.
Yeah. Absolutely, Welshie.
McVeigh, what a kick. That's why. As just sailing into one in his hands. Hanbury likewise has Buddy now. This is Buddy range. Make no mistake, the man on the march at 49.
If Buddy kicks this goal, we'll have a look at what Gary Rowan did to give Buddy the space to get out on that lead. He got him 5 metres there, Rowan.
Beautiful kick by Jared McVeigh, wasn't it? And then Dan Hanbury didn't hesitate, looked up, back off the mark. And how many times have we seen Buddy Franklin kick goals from this spot on this ground?
Oh, this is just a perfect spot for him, and that's a goal. No problems at all. Buddy Franklin makes it 3 apiece.
At the start of this game, it's been good. Both teams playing good footy, highly skilled. Lots of quality players on both sides. Always great to watch Buddy Franklin live. He lights up an entire ground, whatever ground he's playing on. Good start.
Have a look at this here. See Gary Rowan run across the path of Sam Fisher, and that's what gave Franklin 5 metres. That's unselfish. An unrewarded lead from Rowan, BT. That gives Franklin an easy chest mark and goal.
Good spotting, Richo. Back in the middle, Nankervis. Hickey just timed it better. Now Jack. Oh, he might have heard the Akers call then. Now Stephen. They've got the extra. They encourage Jack Stephen to run with the footy. Armity says no problem. Stephen delivers a long ball. Weller has taken the mark. Impressive stuff from this revitalised Saints.
Gee, that's a smart kick by Jack Stephen. Running, bouncing. He would have been exhausted with a run like that, but then have the composure here. Instead of going long, where the Sydney defenders were all heading back to, just pulled it back. to Mav Weller's advantage. That is a perfect kick.
He made Weller go to that spot with the kick, didn't he?
That's what the best kicks do, Brian.
Yep. 30 out directly in front. He's like a bull, this guy. Weller, he threads that, so still good. 4 straight to 3-1.
What a great game we have here so far. 7 goals in half a quarter of footy, and it's goal for goal. Exciting, plenty of marks inside 50. Both forward lines look super dangerous at the moment. And Mav Weller, it's a credit to him, the work he's done from the Suns, comes down to the Saints on a rookie list, ends up on a leadership group, and he's been a great acquisition for them.
Interesting with these two teams, a lot of people would think that it's Sydney that have the more experience here, when in actual fact, when you look through them, and I know at the top end with Montagna and Rewalt and these guys, they bump those figures up, but the more experienced side here tonight is St Kilda. Out of the middle they come. Kick to Bruce. Outmanoeuvred on this occasion here, knocked down here. Little handball through traffic. Ends with Hanbury, crunched in the tackle there by Noons, and Noons reaps the benefits of an aggressive tackle.
So they've been able to find one-on-ones from this position so far, St Kilda. And they've got it again.
That one was looking and trying to get Ross to go into that space, but he didn't read it like Mills did.
Gee, he's had a great season, Callum Mills. First season, and he just reads the ball so well. That's a really good example of a mature head on young shoulders there from Mills. As that ball came in, he wasn't too concerned about where his opponent was, just read the flight of the ball and chopped it off. He's had a great first season.
And all their defenders do that, don't they? They chop it off, and that's why the Saints want to try and get it to one-on-ones. Try not to allow any intercept third man in from Sydney.
Up went Membry. It was a good kick. Akers pursued by Lloyd. Lloyd hanging on there. Akers not letting go either. So at the moment,
dragged it in.
This game has been played in St Kilda's forward half.
Hold there.
It's being played almost on St Kilda's terms too, BT. You mentioned it before that Sydney don't want to play into that fast ball movement, fast, frenetic style, because that's St Kilda's game. They wanted a bit more in a contest at the moment on St Kilda's terms.
Ross got Papley under the footy there. Now Montagna, high ball Membry, just lost touch of Rampy then. And Rampy, almost a certain half-back, All-Australian as well.
Speaking of good defenders who read the ball well.
Sydney. Hold him. Right. Okay. Play on yours.
Heaney, he's very strong overhead.
Back to
He is as good a mark. This is a big call, but he's as good a mark as just about anyone in the comp, Heaney.
He's their second best mark up forward.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Buddy first as the first option. The next option is him.
He's great vertical leap, but his hands, he's a one-grab player.
I'm going to say something, may seem a little bit ridiculous here as our cameraman cops a little bit of a one, but he's, as a pure mark, he's a better mark than Buddy Franklin.
He is, yeah.
Just with his hand.
Yeah, he is.
Buddy's obviously got so many more other little tricks to his game, but as far as one grab and the way he launches himself at the ball, Heaney just for a pure mark is outstanding.
Once they hit his hands, it's staying in there. He doesn't juggle it at all.
Jack Stephen. I'll tell you what I like in this St Kilda outfit too, is like Australia in the basketball in the Olympics at the moment. When they get out there, it's 5-on-5 against the US. They run them right to the death because they're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's and understanding that if each of them does their job, they can compete against the good clubs. And they're doing that so well. Here's Parker. Hanbury working. On the run, no problems at all. This is a goal-for-goal game. Four goals apiece. 5 lead changes. And this all goes well for an attractive game of footy. Hanbury, Franklin, Richardson, Jack for Sydney. Sydney by a point.
I like the different styles that Sydney can just shift into. This was just clinical, kick mark, moved it down the ground, got the one player out, and a nice finish by one of the best players in the competition, Dan Hanbury. Doesn't always have to be super fast, lots of handballs. They can shift between styles, this Sydney Swans team.
Sorry, who?
Parker.
Sydney kick. Parker.
Now that's paid by the umpire at centre-half back for Sydney.
Play on.
Pulled that one off the ball. Parker, the recipient. Here's Buddy pushing and shoving with his man as well. A bit of help there in front. It was well done. Fisher's got Buddy when he's deep. There's no question about that. Now Robertson. Sure what to do. Went the bailout kick to Stephen Hill's almost tackled over the line. They keep it alive, the Saints. Impressive little play there. But now they close in. Kennedy's got Stephen in the tackle.
Fine. Took possession, but he wanted to go through. Yep. Cool.
Very clear messaging there from the umpire to the players. Towers to Buddy. 2-on-1 there. Montagna coming in to try and sort things out. So St Kilda, impressive at the moment against one of the, a lot of people say, the premiership favourite. Throw in the Hawks. Weller, good give. Joy McCartan came backwards. Goes wide, finds Billings. And run out of room.
I didn't mind it from Paddy McCartan. I know what you were saying, BT, keep the momentum going, but I think what you always call for, get the ball into the best ball user's hands. I think he knew he had Jack Billings there, who is a lovely kick of the footy. Gave it off to him. Billings, however, couldn't quite live up to it and hit the target, but not a bad idea. Get it into the best kick's hands.
Minchington. McVeigh. Fisher. Come right up with Franklin then. Look at Buddy run now. Tries to run the legs off Fisher. He might have given it there. Heaney decides to go it alone to Gary Rowan. Slips through the fingers. St Kilda go back. Gilbert really good at the ground level. Sydney applying the pressure here at the moment. Robin caught. Heaney's got him. Was it a legal disposal? Now Fisher. Just a little bit of time to go sideways. And they work themselves out of a tight spot.
Missed opportunity there for the Swans. Rowan was one out inside 50, and that kick from Heaney just had too much height on it.
Gee, I reckon Buddy was running outside Heaney on his left foot too.
He had two options.
Minchington in there.
He could have nearly drawn the handball and then given it off to his left to Franklin. Easy to say that from up here. He chose the right option as well. He just missed his target, the Rowan lead inside 50.
There is the job that Sam Fisher has got tonight. Not one many backmen would really want. Jack Hewitt just pulled the kick and then went longer. 2-on-1. Gilbert.
Push from the front.
Very clever there by Fisher, just protecting the drop of the ball. Terrible kick.
Kick by Gilbert allows Franklin to jump onto theirs. Tackle by Ross. Save the day. Incorrect disposal. The advantage paid, and maybe another turnover here. Naismith in amongst it. Tries to stiff arm Akers. Came back at him. And that's incorrect disposal as well. The Saints have turned into tackling machines. Hickey.
Right behind him hard. Try him back on. Play on.
Under Noons. Long ball. Weller recovers. Rampy with the tackle. Now the numbers in Sydney's favour. Off the back is McKenzie. Right it was, in fact. Right around the corner. Snap it. Goal. Got it. He was half on the ground. Unbelievable kick from Wright. He had a tackler on his back, literally. And he was almost at ground level.
Good call, BT. What a goal. Gee, they look dangerous inside forward 50, St Kilda. Both teams do, to be fair, but this is a great game. It's quick. I reckon St Kilda like that. They want this game to be quick. They just kept going, kept it alive. The pressure was there from the Swans, and that's just a great finish around the corner, a great snap, Lingy.
Isn't it just a frenetic game at the moment, as we said? That's the way the Saints would like it. 9 goals now. We've had 6 lead changes. It's a ripper of a first quarter. Gee, I'm hoping the rest of the game keeps going like this.
We'll be worn out if it does.
Well, the Saints would like it to stay this quick, I reckon. I reckon the Swans would just like to control things a bit more.
This is up there, Ali. Richo, you're right. Kennedy. High footy it once again. Robertson here to tap down. In amongst it is Nan Curvis. Savage applying the tackle.
Come on, boys.
So interesting job that Rewalt's got tonight, Lingy. I'd like you
Straight back.
to get over the top of that in defence as we take a look at the live ladder. You can see St Kilda 1 game out, so it's ultra important for them to win tonight. Sydney looking to consolidate the top 2 spot. Montagna to that man Rewalt. What do you think, Lingy?
He started on the wing, BT, and he's running almost as that defensive winger, getting back to help out. Gee, that's a good mark on the lead from Tim Membry there. But we saw Rewalt getting involved, so he's not just staying behind, he's following the play.
Bruce Grundy with the spoil. Hanbury. Big call from the umpire. Sydney going for the all or nothing to Dan Curvis. It's a really good switch. Decided not to keep going with it here. Now they do. Hewitt's found a little bit of space. Got some time in the middle of the ground. Here's the 2-on-1 again. Can they get across to gang up on Buddy? They do. 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Montagna at the back door to Fisher. Missed Robert with the handball. Here comes Franklin. He wanted the deliberate out of bounds. The last said, I was just trying to get out of the way of the freight train.
The big fella was coming at him. The last 2, there's that mark from Membry, great on the lead. The last 2 times it's gone to Franklin, Montagna and Gilbert have got over to help Fisher.
Billingson, Kennedy.
Play on, it's out.
Here is, in amongst all of that, the goal kicker right.
I reckon Sam Fisher will be hoarse by the end of tonight, just screaming at his teammates, please come back and help.
He's loving the help he's getting at the moment.
Yeah, he's getting good help, but he wants that to continue,
Yeah.
I think he said.
If he doesn't, it's going to be really hard for him.
A few muscles will be tightening up if they don't get back there and help.
Angle.
So Sydney's starting to get a little bit of footy now at their forward end.
Move it on. Yours, mate.
Lloyd pops it to the predictable spot. Hewitt didn't make any ground, and Fisher.
Clear out. Play on.
2 3/4 minutes remaining in this quarter. Montagna, Rewalt.
Keep this.
Is really wide. They keep it moving.
You.
Savage, one of their better kickers. Yeah, Bruce let up. And this is one of the things I'm noticing that St Kilda are doing tonight. They're presenting up at the footy and drawing away from the defenders. I think that's a good tactic against Sydney.
Well, they've always got a player presenting up, as you said, BT, which then creates that space, provided he can be hit up, creates that space behind him for those players really trying to get out the back. And
I think that's exactly what's happening, Lingy.
And they're doing it well. You said it right from the start. They are well drilled. They know what each player should be doing at any moment, and they're doing it.
And I mean, all clubs are well drilled, but can you be well drilled and execute? That's the thing. And then how long can you continue in the same game to execute?
Straight up there,
Well, that's what the good teams do. That's what Hawthorn have done for a long time. They execute their game plan perfectly.
Fans are loving this here tonight. Parker wrenched the arm free. David off to McVeigh. Really good kick to Heaney on the lead. Heaney looks around, sees Rowan with the speed out the back. It really worried Gilbert, but he did well to make up the ground. Kept it alive. Montagna on the rebound, spots up the kick, a kick he needed to make. Noons takes the mark. Goes wide, this one's McCartan, got to be strong overhead. Kick 5 in the VFL last week, Paddy.
High contact. Come back and take a kick.
The spider
No, your
bite
kick.
doesn't seem to have affected him.
And he's going to have to attack the ball hard. He's got Dane Rampy as his opponent there, and Rampy's closing speed is elite. Even though he might have thought he had 5 metres break there, Rampy was always going to close it down.
The spider might have put a bit of potion into Paddy. It might be helping him.
Whether it was a white tip, a red tip, or a funnelly, or what it was. But look at Sydney queuing up on the outside of this ball. Towers through the middle of the ground, steps on the gas, threads one, gives a beautiful handball to Mitchell from 55 metres out. The Saints scurry back. Dempster.
He'd be unlucky if it was a funnel web, BT.
Yes.
None of them in Victoria.
Well, you know, the way people smuggle things around these days, you never know. And then here's Gilbert takes a juggler. Oh, there'd be some St Kilda fans sitting here tonight that would be just licking their lips. And nothing disparaging to say about Sydney at all. Just playing well, both of them.
Just a quality game of footy, and St Kilda are more than holding their own at the moment. The excitement in those St Kilda fans, BT, would not just be for this season and keeping their finals hopes alive, but for their future.
Inside 50's proof that Sydney have had the play in the last 5 or 6 minutes. at their forward end with multiple inside 50s.
But even I like this, BT. Just being able to shift into this mode. They know they're heading into quarter time. They're really happy with what they've done so far. Just a bit of tempo footy, control the ball.
Oh, it's good.
Or maybe not that one.
Memory, that's hung in the air a long time, and when the ball's in the air a long time, defenders can get there. Rowan missed it. Montagna did 360s around nobody. Then the ball was smothered. Rowan in, Siren saves them. What a cracking quarter of football served up here in the first quarter at Etihad Stadium. Stay with us. This is a hot, hot game. St Kilda, 5 straight. Sydney 4-1. Quarter time. A lot for Alan Richardson to talk about here to keep his troops all revved up, because they've played some great footy in the first quarter. And Johnny Longmire, he knows about these situations many times that he's been in them. 5-point lead for St Kilda at quarter time. Andrew Welsh is downstairs. Welshie.
Thanks, BT. Well, you have to say Dane Rampy is probably one of the best one-on-one players in the competition, probably behind Alex Rance. His ability to get up into the ground, he's only 188 centimetres, but he can play as a tall, he can play as a small. We've seen him close down a couple of these tall St Kilda forwards, pushing right up the ground. He's going to be pivotal in these last 3 quarters. He provides that run. Some concern around Tom Hickey, though, went off there at quarter time, limped down to the race and is yet to come back out. So I'll keep you updated on him, boys.
Gee, that'd be bad news for the Saints if Hickey didn't come up for the rest of this game. Just an example of the pace in it. There's Nicky Winmar there and the great Molly Meldrum. I saw Nicky down in St Kilda the other night, and he was rapt to be here supporting his son. So great to see Nicky down from the Gold Coast, actually. He's loving it. But quick and a lot of possessions here tonight, 116 to 99. I reckon the Saints want to slow it down. There's Jaron Geary, guys, who was a late withdrawal tonight.
He was a big out, Jaron Geary, but they haven't missed a beat, St Kilda. That first quarter was high-quality footy from the Saints. Nick Riewold's been playing that role at times as a winger, drifting back and helping out. Right now he's heading forward and starting forward. He's going to play a big role as the St Kilda Footy Club are going to want to double-team that man there all night. They're going to try and get somebody back to help out Sam Fisher, make sure he can't have too big an impact. At times it'll be Riewoldt, at times it'll be Lee Montagna, Sam Gilbert. They'll all have to take their turn, make sure he's never one out.
So Bruce into the ruck for a bit of a spell there for Hickey. Who folds first in this game? That's the question.
Yours.
Sydney into their forward half. Buddy is just about every time the ball's gone near him, it's been a 2-on-1. Robertson, casual kick around the corner, did well to find Akers.
Make sure it hold.
Varied their speed, the Saints. Gone quick when they need to and slow when they need to. Here's Lloyd, the back of the pack, sends it back inside 50. Franklin in front, off hands. Stephen is there. Kennedy was with him. Akers ground level, spills to Gresham. Spirals one forward. Rampion will get hold of this. Alier there as well. Didn't use him, and now Grundy. So the go slow here. Get the feeling that Johnny Longmire would have told them this over and over again.
He'll want it to shift back onto their terms, won't he, BT? Ball in the contest. Just take that little bit of frenetic pace off the game. It was on St Kilda's terms in that first quarter.
Oh, the quick hands was exceptional. The bullet pass was good. Rui just needed to get the hands out in front then. Kennedy, maybe Montagna could have gone the longer one, but doesn't matter now because they're going to mop up here. Stephen hurried the ball out the back. Armitage almost pinned with a tackle. It was a really impressive tackle by Papley, I think it was. And now a high ball from Savage into Membry. Off hands. Weller gave it away. Akers had a ping and misses due to the resultant tackle pressure.
Yeah, good pressure there. Akers looked like he was going to be able to get clear and have a shot on goal. Gee, Hickey will be a massive out if he can't get back on the ground. It'll muck up the forward structure of St Kilda because Bruce will have to be the man to go into the ruck.
Hold, Sean. Hold.
It was a great tackle there by Gary Rowan to close that one down. Looked like it was going to be another goal for the Saints. They continue to be brave with their ball movement. You can see their intentions. Get it forward quick. And then make sure if it does come back out, there's an enormous amount of defensive pressure on it, and they've done it well so far.
Move it on, play on. Yours.
It's interesting, Welshie, with Hickey because he had trouble in the warm-up and left the warm-up just a little earlier than the other players. So what do you think? Could be something to do with that?
Yeah, he did come off limping quite badly at that quarter-time break. Went straight down the race, as I said. Still is yet to come up as well, boys. So I'll certainly keep you posted if he does.
Franklin superb. Gary Rowan inside 50. Got it to the goal square. No one home. Dempster overran it. The fend off from Richards. Turnaround goal. Scores a level.
Oh, the bounce, shocking bounce for the Saints defenders there. You've got to feel for defenders when that happens. Nothing they could do about that. The old Shane Warne leg spinner bounce. And a nice goal there for Richards. That's his second, Xavier Richards. He'd be enjoying that. And it continues to be a goal-for-goal game. It's just terrific, fast-paced footy here at Etihad Stadium.
Here, Lance Franklin just setting things going again. Just little touches like that. Gary Rowan getting the ball forward, and rough bounce here led.
That's just your classic leg spinner there.
Play on, trying to kick it, play on. Nah.
Moons. Possession of the footy shakes. Got a bit of space here. Ross. Good selection. Pounding ball by St Kilda. 2-on-1 this time against Weller. Rampy beats him back to the footy. Didn't take it out of bounds, kept it alive. McVeigh just a leer, ran past it, Rewalt, went the banana, too much on it. Too much cut on the ball.
Good test for Lear here at the moment. He's playing on Nick Rewalt and the great modern day forwards, great movement. Good test for Lear to see how his development is coming along. He's been great early parts in his career.
Yours.
Heaney, long way up the deck.
I love Lear's poise when he gets the ball too, Lingy.
Is he a good kick?
Yeah, they rate his ball use. He doesn't make mistakes with it.
It's probably been one of his biggest strengths in what I've seen early on. And the biggest surprise, I wasn't expecting him to be that composed, but each time he gets the footy, he just doesn't look flustered at all.
Beautiful handball by Kennedy to Hanbury. Hanbury finds an opportunity with Papley. Papley lets it rip, sprays it across the face. So a couple of easier opportunities presented here early in the second quarter for Sydney. I reckon Sydney, oh look, they wouldn't be surprised with the pressure, St Kilda, because they would have researched and done their homework, I guess, but maybe when you're actually confronted by it's different. Gee, that's a tough one for Rewalt. Over the back is Membry. Or McKenzie it was. Little opportunity here now, right, in fact it was. Get it right third time, Brian. And off the hands of Weller. There is Hickey. Welshie, what do you think?
Yeah, look, he come out of the race. He was still limping a fair bit, so he's certainly not going to be 100%. But as you can see there, he looks to be set to come back onto the ground. We'll have to watch him for the rest of the game, though.
We'll just see if there's an adjustment from the St Kilda on ballers. If Hickey can't have as big an influence in the ruck, they'll really have to make sure these quality Swans on ballers are covered and they can't get any easy exits from the stoppages.
Mills. Beautiful pick-up, Hanbury. Through the middle of the ground, Lloyd. Chipping little ball. Out in front there, couldn't win it. Gary Rowan with a bit of speed, just runs away from them all. Misses.
Just at the start of this quarter, the Swans' pressure is forcing St Kilda to flip around too many handballs. They've had 30 possessions, St Kilda, 10 kicks. That's too far. They don't want it to be that far in favour of the handball. So I know they want to run and link and get through this Swans' pressure, but I reckon that's a bit too much.
Gee, Seb Ross doing a great job on Kennedy at the moment, isn't he, as well? Kennedy hasn't really cut loose yet.
No, we know how good... Oh. Deliberate paid there.
Yes.
We're going to need another look at that one, BT, to be...
And the natives aren't happy.
Absolutely certain. But
they are even mid-pie prepared to voice their opinions. Lloyd is dangerous. So the knock away there on that occasion from McKenzie. Here's the late replacement for Geary. Bruce got blood streaming from the eyes. Surprised the umpire hasn't seen that. Jack Stephen, Hanbury, Parker. Little handball inside. Hewitt's there. Akers with the tackle. Parker gave him him a lot of time.
Still 9.
Kennedy with the flick on. Robertson ran past it. Now Papley keeps his feet. Very evasively effective. Kick to the square is good. And Naismith has taken the mark.
Well, that was just too big, too strong. The quick kick came in, and Sean Dempster there was just caught in a situation where Naismith had the front position, and then he just outsized him.
Just for his second career goal here, the big fella. Directly in front, shouldn't miss this. And he hasn't, so Sydney lead it by 7 points.
Yes, those around the corner kicks inside your forward 50, they're always going to drop short, and that's what caught Dempster out then.
We saw a few of those last night, didn't we, where just the quick kicks, throw it on the boot, the forward plays in front, especially when you're as big as what he is.
He's a massive unit, isn't he? Big Naismith, 206 centimetres. They're just getting bigger and bigger, the ruckman. The old ruckman are now forwards. So Josh Bruce is going to come from the ground, and where's big Tommy Hickey? He's back out there.
He's gone back into the middle.
Yeah, so that's all right. So they got him out there. There's the live ladder. With Sydney back in front, and they go to the second on the ladder, which is what they want. They want home finals at the SCG, and they'll get them if they stay there.
A win tonight, they move to the top of the ladder.
That was, yeah, no, that's the live ladder there.
ladder,
Sorry, Bristle.
No.
I didn't.
Thank you. No, I think you did.
Did I? I don't know.
Tanya.
I was trying to help you out.
Jack. Hewitt. Towers. Lining up Parker. Hewitt took him on. Just got rid of it. Kennedy trying to escape it. Alier out the back. Sydney keep it rolling. Now the high ball, got to go back with the flight. Dangerously done, and Maverick Weller did it well.
Well done by Maverick Weller. That is a tough ball to sit under. Gee, St Kilda's pressure was good then. Sydney were able to get the kick inside forward 50, but St Kilda just not relenting with that pressure at all. I've loved the season of Mav Weller, going back and helping out defensively there. He's kicked a goal in 14 of his last 15 games, so he's dangerous when he's forward. He gives you every bit of effort he possibly can, and really helps lift some of his younger teammates.
Just need to lock the ball in at their end a little bit here, the Saints. Sydney just getting a little bit of an edge here early in the second quarter. Membry almost completing the mark, stolen by Cunningham, who just basically came off the bench. Rewalt. So this gives them a chance to hold the footy here. They line up. Dempster from inside the square. A thumper! Dempster's kicked a monster goal! Against the flow, and Dempster's first goal for the year.
That feels good as a defender. He's running back now. All his teammates getting around him, but gee, defenders love coming down and kicking long goals like that. And Sean Dempster has been a great player for both these teams. Sydney and St Kilda, great intercept defender.
.32 years old, Sean Dempster. Richo, you're not supposed to be able to launch them from inside the centre square when you're that old.
And what about the pass to him from Rui, who's 34, just wheeled around on the left, Rui.
Easy as you like.
So the old boy's getting the job done, Bristle.
Just 841 days since he kicked his last goal. So a little bit of time between drinks. High ball. St Kilda again. Canterbury, good tackle. Buddy hands. Gresham stole it. Weller bangs boot on ball, advances ball, forward 50, Akers, Alier, didn't stick the tackle, Akers snaps and pulls.
What they've got at the moment, St Kilda in that forward 50, is 6 dangerous forwards. They all look dangerous, and that means the Swans defenders have got to stay one-on-one, and they're going to get more and more chances. If you're one-on-one as a forward, that's all you're after.
You can really see a concerted effort from St Kilda to make sure that they're isolated and one-on-one.
Oh, this looks good. Ross, Akers, the benefit of being in front. Ball fell short, not sure it was meant.
But even again there, Bristle, it was a one-on-one. There was no one chopping it off that entry. I know it was a hack kick around the corner, but it was a one-on-one and it dropped short again because it wasn't a deliberate kick.
And the Swans just love helping each other out in that defensive end, and we haven't seen it much tonight.
Big comeback if he gets this goal. Sydney started fast. Looks right, is right.
He's had a good couple of months though, Blake Acres. I like the fact he can go forward, be dangerous, but also push into the midfield as that bigger-bodied type midfield, 190 centimetres. It's been good.
Well, their forwards, I think the thing about St Kilda is their forwards can all win the footy. All win their own ball.
Short try, mate.
I say bigger midfielder at 190 centimetres. That's not the case anymore, Richo.
What about the Bont last night? Just another clinic from the Bont.
Patrick Cripps is 194, 95. They're just getting bigger and bigger, as you say, across the whole ground.
Noons. And Curvis piling in. Mitchell, fast hands. So good. Sydney, the quick hands there under pressure. Buddy Franklin running onto his favoured left side. In he comes. Slamming ball. 2-on-1 down there. Can the Saints get across and help on Richards? A little bit of a fumble from Xavier. Out the back door is the replacement here of Mackenzie. Good kick. Finds Membry. So Membry, that is a good kick and a great lead from Akers. He reels and goes. And now the long ball to the one-on-one. It's McCartan. McCartan is marking a one-on-one to advantage.
And BT, that is exactly what Richo was just talking about. St Kilda isolating their forwards so they can work one-on-one.
It was that lead there. It was that lead there from Akers that dragged up Rampy, who wants to intercept, and that gives McCartan a chance, and he's a massive unit. If he's one-on-one and it's half a centimetre to his advantage, he's going to mark it.
Inside left goal post. I'm told the spider was the daddy longlegs, and it's all clear. So that's the good news.
Daddy longlegs.
McCartan comes in, goals. 2 goals apiece in the second quarter. The daddy longlegs boy.
I'm not sure the daddy longlegs can do much damage, Brian, but Paddy McCartan can. He is a big unit, and he's going to be a star for this team if he can stay out there. He's had his issues, we know that, but he looks super dangerous tonight. And the Saints, they want to keep their season alive.
So McCartan kicks a really cool goal. He knew it was right off the boot. Gee, they're kicking well from the set shot tonight. And just under the left arm there, you can just see where the daddy longlegs attacked him. Crawled into his bed. Hanbury, 2 goals apiece. Great game of footy. Saints now by 7, so they have responded in a big way to this fast second quarter start by Sydney.
They can't pierce the skin, though, the daddy longlegs.
Mitchell, Hanbury, short little ball, buddy. Now, tricky kick for Franklin here. We know this is the left to right slider, but with his left boot, he likes to hang it out left.
He does, Buddy Franklin, but if anyone can kick it, he can kick it. It was a nice pass from Dan Hanbury under pressure. Again, just lowered the eyes, brought Buddy to the ball, and he's dropped a little bit behind Josh Kennedy, so he'll want a few tonight to just get back up that Coleman medal ladder board.
That's how easy it is when you're as good as Buddy Franklin. Who's excited?
The good game of footy continues. Both teams scoring well. The first quarter, there were plenty of goals, and it's continuing here in the second quarter. Fast ball movement, good ball use, and I love the pressure of both the teams. They're throwing their bodies in there, but then the opposition is still able to execute good skills under enormous pressure. This is the perfect type of finals footy. Saints want to be there.
And here's the beautiful set shot of Buddy. He liked it. So 5-1 and 5 straight for the teams tonight on the set shots at goals. So it's just a beautiful night for footy. Obviously here at Etihad, and they're making the most of it, these two teams.
Oh, the roof's closed, Richo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's beautiful.
There's McCartan again. Oh, gee, Mills. Without regard for his body.
It's generally going to be pretty nice when the roof's on, Brian.
Most houses, I would say, have a roof, Richo, and it's a pretty good night in most of them.
Oh, well, I see inaccurate kicking here at times, so
Hanbury,
these boys have got it right tonight.
Move on. High on.
half back.
Yours.
High footy, here comes Rowan. Gee, was that Akers that stood in front of that and absorbed the pack? It was.
Gee, Rowan saw from that contest as well.
Well, he got a bit of a knock last week from memory as well. Came off, Rich. I think it was pretty late in the game.
Play on.
Rewalt, knock, Stephen, the line out of bounds. So just seeing Hickey at the moment, got a bit of a limp, but looks like he's competing okay and doing his job.
And he's certainly been a difference since he's come back on. The Swans got on top early in this quarter, but he's at least even up the clearances and getting his players first use.
Play on.
Parker.
Play on.
Ross still
Play
on
on.
Kennedy. You can just see him skirting the pack there, and he's doing an outstanding job.
Deliberate.
That's a deliberate ball,
Oh, there,
and this
Kieran.
means Armitage has got the free.
Yeah, Kennedy's had the 13 touches,
Play on
but Ross
now.
is up to
Play
12
on.
possessions himself. And
Yours, mate, yours.
again, I love that. If you're going to do the job on a play, you've still got to be able to
Play on.
find the footy yourself. Can't be totally negative. Seb Ross has had a good year this year.
Yeah.
He's been
Play
really
on.
important for the Saints.
Yep, he has, Ross. Played all 20 games this year. Lingy, Seb Ross. Here's Gilbert. Minchington. Fast hands. Mitchell. Goes back and gets it. Wrapped up in the Montagna tackle. He appeals. Umpire Matty Nichols, very experienced.
Just behind you.
Just going to get Welchie to keep an eye on that. I reckon Tommy
back.
Mitchell might have gone to Montagna to stop his run and carry from half back.
Play on.
Franklin. Mitchell, the man you speak of. Long driving ball, good position here. Richards, Dempster. Dempster did well. Support from Savage. Went to ground. Dragged the ball in. Needs to get rid of it. Hewitt to Papley. Papley with a snap. Got it. Sydney have got their fourth of the quarter.
Great work in the Sydney forward 50. Just kept at it. Kept the ball alive. And they've just had a little period here of a couple of minutes where they're just starting to win a few contests, the Sydney Swans. The Saints have been terrific. The scoreboard's fine. You just get a feeling the Swans just amped it up a little bit.
Let's get set up, guys. Knock out.
Richo, I just wonder here with the St Kilda defenders, if there's still that doubt, can they rush the ball through? Scared of maybe being delivered out of bounds, but also just punching it straight over the goal line.
Yeah, I think there definitely is, Slingy. I think players are not 100% sure, and that little bit of doubt there can create moments like that.
Oh, the threat of the deliberate made him keep it in there, I'm sure of it.
I think you're right, BT.
So here we go again. Doing well here, Sydney. 4 goals in this second quarter. 2. They let to 2 goals, St Kilda.
Thanks, guys.
Sign of a
Straight
crowd
behind.
right to the back row in the top deck there, as you can see. St Kilda home game. Kennedy. McVeigh to Heaney. Heaney to Papley. Didn't have the clean hands. It was coming quite promptly at him. Parker went back on his right boot. High ball. Mitchell held off. Montagna. In they go. Underneath. Gilbert, one of the 3. Mitchell said to the umpire, he's sitting on the ball. Umpire says, get it out. He does. Now Rowan through the traffic. Pressure enormous here. Saints can't afford to let this go. They're pushing. They're bullocking. They're finding their way out of this, Sydney.
Pushing the back. St Kilda.
Gilbert's ball.
Gee, they're sustaining it.
Should have been 50. Did not throw the ball back. He threw it at the feet of the umpire. Umpire wasn't looking.
Lucky one there for the Swans, but gee, they're sustaining it well, St Kilda. I thought they might have dropped off a little bit. They just keep being able to bring the heat. What a grab that is from Tom Hickey. Great hands. Brave mark.
That was impressive. On to the boy from the Great Ocean Road in Stephen, a high footy. Bruce is there, Membry's there, the big guns are there. Off hands, Mills. Did well to get rid of the ball so quickly. Now Kennedy, will they go on the counter or will they stop?
Thanks, Jack.
Kennedy says no, we'll draw breath.
Play on. Come on.
Smith.
Hold.
Nick Smith, game 161. Does it without any fuss. Cunningham backwards with Mills, one of their young guns. Mills to Grundy.
Yours.
Grundy, risky kick. Savage the spoil. Ross overran it. McVeigh was cool. Cunningham got rid of it. Now Hewitt forward. Little left footer out wide to Hanbury. Hanbury on the half hop. Did well. Turned it inside out. High ball. Here comes Buddy. 4 deep he was. Off hands it comes. Gilbert impressive. Found Akers. The counter attack is on. Akers wondering where to kick it. Paddy McCartan. Sliding mark. Sensational stuff. And they keep moving the ball forward. And here's Bruce. From one end to the other, the Saints with monotonous ease.
And that's just great to see from McCartan. He had to provide that get-out kick for the half-back line there. I think it was Akers, was it, coming off half-back? He had to provide that long lead. Here it is here.
And the degree of difficulty on that mark is high. That's tough to take. And then just wheeled and went straight away to Josh Bruce.
For the 10th lead change of the game. Bruce from 50 to the near side. No go.
BT, you speak of the lead changes. The 7 points has been the largest margin so far in this game. With 15 goals kicked, you think it's a shootout, but it's just a great game of footy. We're seeing big context. We're seeing great transitions of play, great goal kicking. It's just a perfect game for footy.
You're right in the action there, too, Welshie. You're feeling it as well as seeing it. Off hands, Armitage, Hickey out the back door to Montagna. Great tactical battle as well between the coaches and the setups they're trying to manipulate here. Both incredibly smart. Got players that can carry it out. Now on the move they go. Towers with an inside 50, short ball, Buddy. Robinson was there, push. Didn't get behind the mark there, Dylan Robinson.
Bring it back.
Let's have a look. There's the hands in the back.
Thank you.
Good call from the umpire.
He's had a good year, Dylan Robinson. I reckon he's been pretty underrated in what he's done this year. Big job.
Game 100 tonight for Dylan.
Throw, St Kilda. Advantage.
Played. Here's Ross. Out wide. Montagna having to use the small body against the big body. Nankervis, one out. Weller's there though. He's a raging ball. Got it on to Montagna. The stiff arm was impressive. I love watching Weller play. Montagna. Poor kick. Under pressure.
Joey Montagna up to 18 disposals in this first half. You mentioned Tom Mitchell. Early on he looked like he was on Jack Stephen, but he's moved to Joey Montagna to just try and quell that run. And
he was there for a while. I'm not sure if it was just a normal match-up at half-back and half-forward, but we know Mitchell has played those roles.
Good body move there by Hanbury, but couldn't reel in the mark, Jack, to tidy up the work here. Papley, deliberate little handball along the ground out there to Hanbury, now on to Jack. Jack, a chiselling ball, found the speedy Rowan. Gee, I reckon he marked it, umpire, not sure it hit the deck. Little unlucky there, got the kick away. Now McVeigh's got it all to do. Armitage closing, couldn't tackle, didn't pick up the ball. Beautiful spinning pirouette out there by Mitchell. Put it into the hot zone. Rewaltz full stretch. Took the risk on the bounce. Gobbled it up. And St Kilda momentarily out of trouble. And look at the limp on Hickey.
he saw, BT, you're right. John Longmire doesn't like what he sees. There's Tom Hickey limping back to the ruck contest. It's going to be brave if he can play out the rest of this game. He's so important to the Saints. How good was Nick Rewalt then? Those hands to attack the footy. And third man up then again. He's doing it all.
He's done that a little bit since Hickey got sore, Rewalt. It's given him a chop out the third man up.
Alier, McCartan. Big job, Alier, on that man there. And they're a fanatical mob, the Saints. Supporters. Got a couple in the box here, Lingy. It really should go out there and sit in the terraces.
Play on!
Stephen. Under Hanbury pressure. Heaney. Parker, the little chiseler, found Mitchell. Mitchell turned. Buddy was on, but didn't feel he could make the kick, Mitchell, so he just drifts it and finds Kennedy. Kennedy goes for a low bullet. Papley. Richards. Papley again. Savage will have to spit it out. He does now. Fisher to Rewalt. Rewalt looking to go down the line. Drawing handball to Montagna. Montagna cornered. Corralled. Gives it back to Rewalt. High ball. McCartan did well. What a contest that was from Paddy McCartan, outnumbered.
We've been raving about him all night, and we love his ability to mark the footy, kick the goals, but sometimes as a key forward, Richo, you know this so well, you just have to do that. The ball's just got to come to ground, got to make a contest. That was quality from Paddy McCartan.
Gee, a few other young big forwards in the comp, they could play with that sort of intensity and passion that McCartan brings. I know every player hasn't got everything, but
I think he genuinely likes hitting bodies, Paddy McCartan.
Yeah, I think he does too.
He's got a big rig on him, hasn't he? He's a massive unit, so he's going to hurt some defenders if they want to get in front of him too often.
Soccer off the ground. Noons. Bruce was there at the back. Lurking Membry. Put his body in front. Well done, Smith. To Alir. McVeigh, do they go or not with 30 seconds on the clock? They find Mitchell in the middle. If they can turn him inside out here, Mitchell. He does with a handball to Kennedy. Ross closing. Escaped the tackle. Out wide. Time and space here for Parker. 55 metres out. Buddy Franklin closing. And look at the post wobble there. From a Buddy hit. Look at it.
Still going.
It's shaking out of its foundation.
Thanks, Tom.
Still going. He's a big man, Buddy.
It didn't hurt Bud.
John Nick.
Bud's sweet.
Play on. Yours.
5-point Sydney lead. Incredible half of footy. Mark paid. Siren sounds. And will Alir go for the torpedo here?
Take kick.
Jared McVeigh says, should have a go, mate.
You have a kick.
Don't know whether he's ever kicked a torpedo. He has a bit of a giggle. And he says, oh, and Jared McVeigh's insisting that he go for it.
Why not? Who knows? I don't know how big a kick he is.
Now he's setting up for the torpedo. He's got it a little... And he really made a meal of that. But nevertheless, you never know unless you have a go. And at half-time, Lingy, Sydney have been ultra impressive.
They've been fantastic, BT, you're right. Sets up a big second half. 5 points the difference at Etihad Stadium. We have got a ripper here. Oh, we always love the Nabos kickers. They're having an absolute ball out of there. He's roosted that one straight through the big sticks. Gets the goal. They are having a great old time. Good strong grab. Something they will remember forever, being out on Etihad Stadium. That's a good, hard, contested footy. Something like what we've been watching in the first half in this game between the Swans and the Saints. Andrew Welsh down on the boundary. What have you got for us? A bit about Joey Montagna.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He said, Lingy, it's been a fantastic game. Some big contests, fast flowing. This man here has set up a lot of the play for the Saints. The 19 possessions, 3 contested. But he's been that link-up player. He started early on sitting in front of that hole in front of Buddy. Mitchell went to him for a little bit, but he's just been able to break away from that. He's been fantastic. It's the experienced players from both sides really leading the way and setting the standard in what is a great game of footy here.
About to go Sydney by 5 points. St Kilda coaching box. Adam Kingsley on the left there. An important ingredient in the St Kilda coaching. Danny Sexton in amongst it, Aaron Hamill. They are a good group, and they're all following the word of this man here, Alan Richardson. Not in the box tonight is Lindsay Gilby. His wife Jess has just had a major operation. All is going well there, so Lindsay and son Oliver at home watching the game tonight. A big cheerio and a get well to Jess from all of us. And your mates at St Kilda. Hickey out of the middle. High ball. Opportunity ground level here. Billings did well, got it on the Noons. Noons! Just shaves the post.
Good sign, though, for Tom Hickey at that centre bounce. BT, we saw him limp him in the rooms at half-time. He was able to get that centre clearance for the Saints. Good start for him.
He's just so important in the second half, isn't he? We saw for that 10 or 15 minutes when he was on the bench. St Kilda struggled a little bit. They were reactive at ground level. He's just got to play out this second half. He's going to be sore in the morning. He's got to find a way to get through it.
Dempster, who we now know has range from inside the centre square when kicking at goal. We know this man does. Franklin out wide, kick to Richards.
Clear out, Pond!
Use of the body, and he's found Heaney. It's a pretty easy game, isn't it?
That is great transition football from half-back. Good ball use from Franklin. And then Richards, he's been good tonight.
That's the line.
He's looked dangerous. Hasn't had a heap of touches, but
He's effectively keeping his brother Ted out of it.
no, different role than playing in the team. But this man Heaney, what a star he's going to be. That was just great transition. Good play on from Richards.
Yeah, looking for goal number 24 for the season for Heaney. No problems. Sydney have kicked 3 in a row. And lead it by 10 points here, the Sydney Swans.
So Isaac Heaney, he's got all the tools. And you think Lingy in the future, him and Mills, they're going to be in the midfield a lot more, aren't they? Half back, half forward at the moment, but gee, they'll just transition in there at some point.
Not a bad combination to have alongside Dan Hanbury and Luke Parker. A couple of the stars for the Swans, and throw in a couple of young guns.
So there's the turnover. You go inboard and you turn it over like that, you might as well just mark down a goal down the other end, and that's exactly what happened, because players react off that. Natural forwards will react quicker, like Heaney, and he finds space inside forward 50.
Biggest lead of the game. Sydney by 10 points.
Guys, Sam Fisher was in a contest early on in this quarter. We've only been going for 2 minutes. He's come off, went for a walk with the physio, shaking his head, and they've gone straight down the race. So it doesn't look good for Sam Fisher.
Well, he's, I think, had suspect hamstrings, has he not, Welsh, in past years?
Yeah, and he's walking along pointing to his lower back and hamstrings.
Oh, no, that would be a disaster, because here's the man looking after Buddy Franklin. Parker in and out of trouble. Papley marks, and Sydney are now looking at their 4th consecutive goal.
Just asking the question there, is Daniel McKenzie. It's the same question I'm asking. How isn't this high for a fend-off? Luke Parker right into his face.
That's a miss.
Missed that one, the umpire, and it's probably going to cost the Saints a goal.
Yeah, very costly miss there by the umpire, because I'm sure if he'd saw the replay again, he'd say, yes, I missed that. Papley goals. Sydney have got 4 in a row, 2 in this quarter. They lead it by 16.
Well, it's crucial time now for St Kilda. Joey's going, come on. I've been around too long to muck around with that garbage. I've got to conserve my energy, says Joey.
Gave him a little rib tickler just in the back there. That's beautiful stuff.
Wouldn't have Brewster. Great play, the rib tickler.
Ali Montagna, young boy Papley, just perhaps getting carried away now. Attacking the old master. Oh, boy.
This is the bend-off from Luke Putt. That's just a miss by the umpire. But it's a crucial one for St Kilda, because it's cost them a goal. Yeah, that's very, very obvious.
So back to the middle. There's Sydney. They've kicked the last 4. St Kilda really under pressure now. As Welshie said on the boundary line, Sam Fisher off the ground here at the moment as well. Get you to tell us what that's going to mean to the matchups now, Richo.
Sydney!
Free kick here going with Jack.
Around the head.
Rewalt knows that it's crucial now they don't concede another goal, so he's dropped behind the ball as a spare man, Nick Rewalt, to try and chop this entry off.
And who looks like they've got the job on Buddy, Lingy?
Dylan Robertson has shifted across to Buddy, but as Richo just said, it's now important that Rewalt helps out in the air. Robertson doesn't want to be in a one-on-one with him.
Team defence required now, if it wasn't there already. That's a beautiful kick, and they're just finding a way through Parker.
And St Kilda players have got their hands up everywhere because they had numbers back. He can't believe it, Nick Rewalt. He was back as the loose man, and they found his player. That was poor. That was poor. Players were guarding space.
St Kilda are going to be tested here now, because this is going to put them 22 points up if Parker kicks it. And it's going to be a real test of their resolve here now, because the premiership favourites are winding the screw very, very tight indeed. Parker comes in and he goals. 22 points. And they have kicked the last 5 goals of the game.
And Luke Parker again continues his wonderful season. He's had 20 disposals, 9 of those contested. He's just a hard nut, but he's also a class player. His first goal for the night. He's good in the air, good on the ground. One of the players I love watching the most is Luke Parker. He plays the game in a great manner.
So here's McVeigh, and just look at the right of your screen. Look at that, just a little hole. Franklin let up, just popped back into the hole, Parker. Just great understanding.
Buddy drew 2 or 3 players to him, didn't he, with that lead, and that left that pocket of space. That's the value of having a player like Franklin in your forward line.
Right, what can they do? The Saints, Armitage. Gresham. Very wide here, finds Noons. Noons looking to pump it long, a bit of a miss kick there. Works for Weller, shakes off the tackle, around another, and then another with ease. A little bit of Hollywood Mav there. In the end, didn't get the depth on the kick that he needed. Now he's got to scrap it out at ground level again. Gresham thought about the handball to Noons. Rewalt trying to find perhaps the boundary line, kept alive. Kennedy into the middle. Out the back door. Roberton. Rewalt. All combining for St Kilda. Lovely kick. Now David Armitage has got it all to do. Here comes McCartan on the lead. He ignored that, went the shorter one. Good patience, finds Ross.
That was the right kick too by Armitage. He wanted to get it to Paddy McCartan, as you called, BT, but Rampy worked the angle really well to not allow McCartan in front on the lead.
And Nick Smith would have chopped it off as well, Lingy, so beautifully summed up there on that entry.
Without doubt, this is the biggest kick of the game so far.
Yeah.
Because they just need to find a way back.
This doesn't fade as much from here, does it? I don't think.
Ross comes in.
Yeah, it does, actually.
They should know St Kilda. They play here every second week. You must start it at the left goal post from that position.
Guys, Sam Fisher's come back up. Just had a lot of work done on his right hamstring there. Looks to be okay. Doctors and the trainers on the bench have been speaking to him. They certainly won't risk him if there was any concern just because of his history. He looks to be okay.
Heaney's out the back door here. He's a man with great speed. Nankervis kept it working. Heaney took him on. Back to the big fella. Nankervis misses.
Gee, that would have been a good goal. Would have been end-to-end stuff there. It was that defensive kick out of their 50 that set it all up. What a chiseler that was.
Rewalt down the line. So, Rossi's all over Fisher down there. And
Hold the meter, Tom.
supporters, and interesting tat, great tat.
It's the iconic image of Nicky.
There's the man himself, Nicky Winmar.
I think he was down at the peanut farm today too in St Kilda, watching St Kilda City play.
Okay.
Hold, player.
It's his local down there, Nicky, when he's in town.
Gresham through traffic.
Right.
Richo, man about town. McCartan almost gobbled it up with Rampy. Couldn't beat them all. Paddy out the back door was Mills. Solid kick. Smith.
That was a good battle between McCartan and Rampy. Neither one of them was budging then, and McCartan somehow nearly still pulled in the mark, but Rampy, such a good one-on-one defender.
He's playing the genuine full-back role, Rampy, isn't he? I always thought he's more of a half-back, but kick inside here. Parker gets it and goes. Lines up, handball over the top. Nankervis this time. No mistake. And Sydney lead by a whopping 28 points.
They're starting to slice them up now. The Saints just not getting that defensive pressure on they were in the first half, and the Swans are taking full advantage of it. Loose players everywhere there.
Well, Luke Parker somehow getting free again, unselfish, got the ball over the top to Nankervis. And the way they're doing it, just watching Buddy Franklin, he's getting up the ground a little bit more too. He's had 6 possessions in this third quarter, leading all comers. Luke Parker's had 4. He's kicked 1 and set up another one there. So some of their big guns, the Swans, have really lifted their rating.
4 goals in 9 minutes. Sydney.
So Rewalt's coming back around onto the wing now. They've sacked the loose man. It wasn't working. They're getting through anyway, so the right call.
by Justin
Straight
Smith.
back.
Very polite in there. Hanbury snatched it. Now Jack, Buddy with a one-on-one.
Too big.
Strong.
BT, Richo just told us that Nick Riewoldt had come out of that loose man in defence, back up onto the wing because it wasn't working. Unfortunately, this is what happens. Then Lance Franklin gets in a one-on-one situation and just too big, too strong, too good.
Because if he was back, he definitely would have impacted that, wouldn't he?
Gee, Sam Fisher sitting on the bench. I wonder what he's thinking of when he sees Franklin come in and take control here.
See Riewoldt and Montagna having a chat in defensive 50 there, and they're trying to work out what's going on. Riewoldt had been back. He came back around onto the wing, and then they get a clean clearance, and Franklin gets that one out. But they've got to try and win the game, the Saints. It's all or nothing for them. They have to keep winning. So they've got to give themselves every chance. And having a number back, being this far down now, be pretty hard.
Alarm bells everywhere for the Saints. The Swans have had 6 inside 50s in this quarter, and they have kicked 5 goals, 1. They would be very happy to see Sam Fisher back out there. They've got to settle now somehow.
So Fisher back out. 5 goals early.
Well, they've got to win the game, the Saints. The season's on the line. They've got to keep winning. So they don't need loose back now. They've just got to do this, play on.
Robertson intercepts, goes for the McCartan one-on-one. Grundy this time to deal with. Weller's in amongst it all. Grundy tap out. Little one from Akers, tackled high. Slipped up there by Mills.
St Kilda.
This has to be a goal. Mills takes a look at the scoreboard and says, oh no, let's take a look ourselves and see what our experts say.
Yeah, slipped high, only for a fraction of a second, but did slip high with that left arm. It was there.
Akers goals. Back to 28 points.
Perhaps Longmire disagrees with me.
I don't think Horse thought it was there. It was minimal, wasn't it?
I'm not going to go down and argue with him at any point, Richo.
It was minimal, but to the letter of the law, the umpire can pay that. It did slip high for a fraction of a second. Mills didn't think so. Plenty of those aren't paid, but you slip high, paid the price that time.
So Akers kicks the goal, gets it back to a reachable 28 points. The Saints fans looking for more of where that came from. Beautiful shot of this magnificent stadium here at Docklands. Etihad Stadium. Roof shut, Nankervis, Stephen will need to play a blistering second half to bring the Saints back in the hunt, but they continue on here. Smith, kick forward, Rowan disposes of his man. Fisher got cleaned up. Buddy came through, almost walked over the top of Fisher. Play of the year. Fisher's out cold. Buddy steamrolled. And Sydney at their best. Goodness gracious me, did you see that?
Yeah, clash of heads, Brian, Nankervis and Fisher. But what happened after it was the brilliance of Buddy Franklin. You can see it there. Sammy Fisher not well, he'll be coming from the ground. But then Franklin, can any man go hard left like that, like he does, and continue to kick those goals across his body? It's unbelievable how he does it.
4 goals to Buddy. Fisher had just gone back on the ground with the suspect hammy. Now he's coming off with a sore head.
Not nice. He's just feeling his jaw as he runs to the bench. He's a sore boy, but Buddy Franklin, when he's up and about and flying, there is no better player to watch.
Powerhouse football here from the Sydney Swans. Gilbert, Montagna steps through the middle of him. Good-looking ball, Membry in front, sharp hands, Weller, handball out wide. Here's the skipper, Riewoldt looking for the lead of McCartan. Hands, Alear did well. Really well against McCartan.
Kept his feet, Alear, brilliant.
Hewitt through the middle of the ground, the counter-attack's on.
Oh, stay up, man.
Parker says we'll just hold a moment. Little one out wide. Here's Hewitt again. Point of the square at half forward. Long handball over the top. The big fella inside 50. Heaney there. Not a lot of direction in the kick. Gilbert's got to go. He waited just a moment. And that's why, because he saw Akers fluently through centre half back. Kick not good, Aaliyah. And he does.
So there's two sides of Aaliyah. Defensively winning and then intercepting. So he's a complete defender, Aaliyah.
Rowan's a big kick, and I reckon he's almost within range here.
We're at 51 metres, 51.
Okay, there you go. The man on the mark is set at 51 by the umpire. Fisher is having trouble with his vision. And his jaw, as Lingy pointed out. Gary Rowan, in the meantime, very close to the man on the mark. No problems with the journey. And he misses to the right-hand side.
He's a big kick of the ball, Gary Rowan. BT, before you asked Richo whether or not Xavier Richards was keeping Ted Richards out of the team. I think it's, in fact, it's Aaliyah who's probably keeping Ted Richards out of the team at the moment. He has come in and played such an important role down back for the Swans. He's had that composure. He's won the one-on-one contest. At the moment, he's the reason why Teddy Richards can't get back in.
Buddy, he's in a bloody good mood at the moment. The jaw being examined. There, Richard.
Oh, Brian.
Oh, Bree. Big BT.
Armitage. The high tackle came after he was out of bounds, I think.
This has been a problem for St Kilda. The scores from the stoppages that blown them away there tonight. The clearances are even, but the spread and their ability to move forward and score from it from the Swans has been outstanding.
Dr. Welsh, what do you think of the jaw of Fisher?
Yeah, it was what they looked at straight away. He was pointing to, obviously, in a lot of pain, that left side of his face. They're checking it out. A lot of concern around, obviously, for Sam Fisher. Straight down the race now.
Okay.
Holding the ball, Sydney.
Yeah, penalised Armitage.
Thanks,
Fisher goes in. It's where it'd be great to have an X-ray machine at the ground. You'd be able to tell straight away. Parker through one. Good contact with the footy.
They do in some of the stadiums in the States.
Yes, and I reckon it's nearly time for our main stadiums here. The MCG and Etihad are where the games are played, and it would be a great idea.
David Armitage here. Just see his right leg getting caught up under Dan Hanbury in that tackle. He grimaced a bit.
Coming off too, as a result, Lingy. Armitage heading straight to the bench and got a pronounced limp, so they're falling over like 9 pins here at the moment. St Kilda. Hanbury through traffic, banged into his own man Heaney. Coaches like to see that. Mitchell's there. Little unlucky not to get a high tackle.
Look at, oh, he's got a bit of medial maybe there. So that motion there that he's showing the doc, that can be a medial ligament on the inside, or it might be a knock on the outside. Who knows?
A little bit of meniscus on the outside,
yeah,
Richo.
Could be.
Dr. Richo. Here he is. Ross charging through.
The Year 10 certificate didn't cover that off, you don't reckon?
Paddy McCartan went to ground. Rampy keeps it alive. He was confronted by Blake Akers. Cunningham spearing handball. Lloyd likewise with the kick, and Parker marks.
Well, this will be an interesting replay when we see it. Whether or not Dane Rampy got boot to ball. Looked like he'd been caught in a good tackle from Blake Akers, but there it is. Ooh, did it hit his knee? Might have another look at that one.
Looking for his second goal here, Parker. 45 metres out, no problems. That's 2 goals. Write it in the book right now. 41-point Sydney lead.
Well, there's Dave Armitage, and it looks like it is an impact injury on the outside of his knee, but the Cream's risen to the top in the third quarter. 10 disposals, Lance Franklin. 6 disposals, Luke Parker, and 2 goals each. And that's what happens when you've got superstars in your team. They lift when they need it.
Sam Fisher down in the rooms there. Well, she told us, and we saw that he got that head knock. And his jaw was sore. That's David Armitage's knee there getting checked out. He'll go through all of the protocol to make sure that's not a serious knee injury.
Holding, Hanbury, Sydney, no advantage. No
Come back
advantage.
to Dan Hanbury here, but real injury concerns. We know Tom Hickey's got a sore ankle as well for the Saints. They are battered and bruised.
So Hanbury goes long, out the back, Heaney. Could have handballed to Hewitt. He wanted it, and Hewitt said, why not?
Well,
now gives him a little bit of an earful.
Sorry, Bristol. Well, what do you reckon? He looked pretty sore, David Armitage, when he came off?
Yeah, he did, and we know he's had concerns with his knees in previous years, so certainly concerns there. He's just going for a jog now as another test out.
Good work here by McCartney, as you see Armitage, as Walshy says, trying to work out whether he can get back on. Bruce.
If you kicked 100 footies at Heaney and McCartan, who'd drop the first one, Lingy? I don't reckon either of them.
That's a tough question. They both just squeeze the footy, don't they?
Hold that lead.
There's Jack. Coming at the ball again is, I think, Luke Parker. Reels and goes, went with the impossible little kick there. Akers strokes the ball neatly, finds Rewalt at half-back. Nothing down the line for Rewalt. Not one player down the line. So he has to wait. Backwards to Roberton.
Sydney have just shown their power in this third quarter. Started the end of the second quarter, but certainly in this third quarter. Richo mentioned it before, the big guns firing up. That's a dangerous kick.
7 goals to 1 in the quarter here for Sydney Weller.
They've shown their ball-winning ability, BT, and how good it is, but we know with their contested ball machines that they can do that, but they've also displayed their ability to move the ball fast, get it into that forward line in dangerous situations, and Parker and Franklin have simply been brilliant in this third quarter.
Play on.
Little ball out the back here now. Good tackle by Alier. Forces the turnover, Rampy careful to Mills and now Grundy. So in this second half here, they've looked every bit the top-end team, Sydney.
It was a quality first half by the Saints, but Sydney have just been able to sustain it for longer, and throughout this third quarter, you've got the sense that they've just broken St Kilda open with their ability to just keep playing their style of football. And now they're in total control right now.
Buddy has just had it a neat 11 times in this quarter. And when you consider there's still 5 minutes remaining and he's going to get it here. So there's the even dozen for Buddy. And look at the kick. Look at that. It was so hard that Richards had trouble getting the Dukes around it. And wrapping it up. Beautifully delivered ball.
That's the problem with him. When he goes up the ground like this, he's impossible to match up on. You might be able to cover him off in 50 with a gun defender, but he gets up the ground.
Oh, look,
does this.
Handball from Sydney there. Just superb combination of hands through the middle. Ends with Papley from 60 metres out. Launches the long ball. Rowan's got his eyes set on this.
Rewalt.
Rewalt's going to take the free kick here, but we're raving about Lance Franklin. He's up to 14 disposals in this quarter alone, BT. Throw in the 2 goals. That's a fair influence on a game of football.
I mean, when he gets up and he's running at goal with the ball, I mean, he's too big for any midfielder to go with, and it's hard for a defender to keep up with him up the ground. It's an impossible matchup.
No one else on the ground as Hanbury Marks has had more than 7.
Yeah.
Thanks, Maverick. Hold there.
He wants a little handball here for a goal too.
He's lurking, but Gresham on the outside's got him covered.
He still wants it though.
And Hanbury was a willing supplier then if he just found a little bit more space. But Wright able to mark here. So this would be very disappointing for the Brains Trust of St Kilda here, that they just weren't able to hold off this very, very impressive premiership favourite. Kennedy looking for the give and go back from Mavey. He went wide instead to Parker. Parker kick around the corner, missed. Dempster. And Johnny Longmire animated.
Just looking for a few answers there, wasn't he?
On the line, and he's just wondering which coach was in charge with that little passage.
A lot of coaches just quickly putting their head down, pretending to write some notes there, I think, Brian.
Yep.
So Bruce. Armitage to Ross. Montagna. This will test Joey's range from here. Brett Kirk there. He's in range of Johnny Longmire.
Thanks, Lee.
It's their first inside 50 for 10 minutes, the Saints. That's how much the Sydney Swans have controlled this third quarter.
Montagna can't make the journey. He's looking around to see if there's a runner from behind, which puts in some doubt whether he's got the legs here. I would have thought he had initially. It's online. It's all about the distance. Joey, no problems at all. Look at the goal umpire. He looked up at the moon.
He nailed it. Had a good night, Joey Montagna, in the first half in particular. They've been under siege this quarter. Only the 2 touches for Joey. He was a little bit sore before the game, but that's a nice goal. He's up to 21 touches for the game.
150th goal there.
Had a great year. Different role for him off half-back this year, but done it beautifully.
So Montagna goes back and no problems at all. Kicks his 150th career goal. Not sure what he's thinking there, but I don't know why he doubted himself. Here he is again, this time running off half-back. That's just a great kick. Really impressive. Weller runs onto the ball. 60 metres out. Open goal square. Weller's missed to the left.
Clear. Thanks, Jack. Jack. Thanks, Nick. Jack.
That would have got his team excited again.
Blue dot. Thanks, mate. Stay behind.
2 minutes left in the third quarter here. It has been a 7-goal-to-2 quarter for Sydney.
Play on.
Mills. Crowd a little shocked here
Move on. Play on. You.
that their team, mostly St Kilda supporters, have not been able to match it with Sydney in this third quarter.
It's been a huge third quarter by the Swans. They've been so good. The Saints fans, they'd be disappointed with this third quarter, but gee, it's a time to be excited if you're a St Kilda fan, because the future is very bright. The way they played in that first half in particular against the premiership favourites, very good.
Here we come again, this time right. A deep searching ball.
Holding Sydney.
Sydney free.
Back here.
The pride colours being displayed prominently here tonight as well. Great signs. Football belonging to everyone is the message. Everyone should feel welcome, included and equal.
Move on. Play on.
Smith, the recipient of the free. Goes out wide, Savage, off hands Rowan now. Tries to get through, took him on, right, almost had him, showed a little bit of candy as well. He did get boot to ball. Advantage paid, Savage went inside 50. McCartan got bumped out of the way. Still in the hunt here, Cunningham under pressure. Under a minute remaining in the third quarter. Noons with the tackle on Mills. Minchington's in there. He ran over the ball. McVeigh, not 15, said the umpire, got to go again. The Saints applying big-time pressure here. Jack Stephen jumps on the footy. The pressure being applied. St Kilda desperate for another goal.
Yeah, great stuff from both teams there. Just desperate from the Swans and the Saints forwards.
See the coach showing the other coach something on the phone then. I don't know what that was about. Interesting little replay. I don't know whether we can get that or not, but here's Savage through the middle of the ground, 23 seconds. Weller. Oh boy, this is no good. Look at the Sydney jumpers running forward here. Rowan can go over the top, but he wanted it, didn't get it. Goes to Papley. Over the top, Franklin is going to waltz in and kick goal number 5. Buddy Franklin with 5. 41-point Sydney lead, and he is.
As soon as that ball got to half forward for Sydney and it had the Swans' names written all over it, Buddy Franklin there, he's involved in that little bit there. He knows here. Takes off as quick as he can. He didn't get the first one from Gary Rowan, but the eyes would have been lighting up there, Richo. That was always coming over the top to him.
Because he saw a big paddock of green stuff. And he said, I'm running into that because I'm having another sausage roll. And that is my bag of 5. And I've got plenty of bags of 5 at home to add that bag of 5 too.
Not enough superlatives to describe Sydney in this third quarter.
And that's Buddy Franklin's third quarter there. 15 touches, 6 score involvements and 3 goals to him. That's huge.
Unreal. Stephen bangs it forward. Well, that'll be it. A great quarter by Sydney. You just saw Buddy's stats. He's got 5 for the game. Sydney by 41 points, 16-7, 103. Lead the Saints, 9-8-62. Welcome back to Etihad Stadium. Three-quarter time here. Sydney by a pretty significant margin in 41 points. In that third quarter, they kicked 8 goals 3. They kicked 8 goals 4 for the first half. And they did a lot of damage. Well, a lot of physical damage done to St Kilda too, by the way.
Yeah, BT, it was a fierce third quarter there. The pressure, Sydney Swans pressure really lifted, but it has been a lot of injury concerns for the Saints. Jaron Geary before the game laid out with a back injury. Sam Fisher, the big one though. He come on in that third quarter after being off for a while with a hamstring injury. Big collision, and he looks to be done for the day. Tom Hickey, he's battling away, the big fella. He's extremely sore, but he's still trying to run the game out. Armitage come off with some concerns around a knee injury there, but he's back out there. But it's a fierce contest, and the Saints certainly are having a toll on their injury bench at the moment.
Yeah, well done, well, Sheehan. We're seeing Tom Hickey now. He looks sore, Richo. He has really bravely gone on and kept trying as hard as he can, but he's going to be sore tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of ice required.
Yeah, you've got to feel for him because he's got to go into these centre bounces, and it takes courage to be a ruckman in the middle, jumping into another player all day, and he is super sore.
Matty Hornsby, the head of sports science and fitness down there, done a great job. Used to be at the Tigers, Richo.
Yeah, he was at Richmond for years, Matty, and then he had a few years out of the AFL scene, but missed footy and got back involved with the Saints.
One of the best high-performance operators in the competition, Matty Hornsby.
Yeah, one of the nicest blokes I've ever met in footy too, Matty Hornsby.
Naismith, free kick out of the middle to start it off. Sydney by 41 as we go into the last quarter. What have the Saints got? Can they narrow the margin? Boy, Swans were happy to fly with each other there. McVeigh caught in the tackle here. Mitchell, Montagna, Stocktini, Ross. Kennedy jumps through. Little left foot tickler around the corner. Good start for Sydney. 47-point lead.
Perfect start for the Swans. Josh Kennedy. Different sort of night for him. Hasn't been one of his biggest nights, but he's still had the 27 disposals. He's had 20 handballs. He's a star, Josh Kennedy. He'll play a big part in the Swans' run to a premiership, a potential premiership. That's a great goal. On the left foot. Didn't have much time there. Nice snap. They've gone for another different sort of look again, like they did in the third quarter. Buddy Franklin getting up the ground. He's starting forward, but he's pushing up around the ball. Obviously, Josh Kennedy then pushed forward. Just seeing a few different things from the Swans in this second half, and it's working well. And there's the live ladder. Looks like St Kilda well and truly done now, but the Swans eyeing off top 2, maybe even top spot.
So Melbourne, though. Melbourne into 9th and still alive. Their percentage is okay.
Well, some would say that when it's mathematically possible, you still operate.
Yeah, you do.
And it is, despite this, will be in that position.
Oh, Buddy's got space here.
He has, and he likes the one-on-one here against Gilbert. Knocks on the ground, collects the ball. Look at him hanging off him. He says, what are these? They're like muscles to a pylon.
Trying to take him on. Straight back.
Good tackle, Gilbert.
Stay out, play on.
He did well then, Gilbert, because Franklin and him were the only players inside forward 50. And the old muscles to a pylon analogy.
To a pylon.
I loved it.
They're hard to get off. Here's Mills.
On there.
Buddy.
Play on.
Loves his footy, I'm led to believe.
Yeah.
Buddy Franklin, I would have thought he's a guy that didn't care too
He's a
much
footy
about-
head.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
I thought he was,
loves it. He studies the footy. Loves it.
I thought he was someone who just went out and played the game,
Yeah.
just played free, but watches a heap of footy and obviously very good at it. But
Some players don't watch a lot of other games, do they?
And quite a good strategist and understands the philosophy of what the coaches are trying to achieve, which is Something I didn't think he'd be involved in either, but...
Well, he reads it so well.
Hold it, Tim.
You can't kick as many goals as him if you don't read the play pretty well.
There's a Lear.
Handle yours.
Now McVeigh. You heard Lingy very early in the game talk about his kicking skills and how Sydney loved ball in hands with McVeigh. That was an example of why. Buddy, just a double spinning pirouette out of trouble, a long ball to Rowan.
What about the confidence in Buddy Franklin's own strength? He knew as Hickey was trying to tackle him then and he was going to spin him, he just felt, I'm certainly going to break this. So he was already looking down the field at where he was going to kick the ball, knowing that he was just going to get rid of that tackler with ease. He's so confident in his own strengths and his own abilities, and why wouldn't you be when you were that good?
Play on.
Ross. Floater. Mills to the boundary.
He doesn't do anything wrong, Mills.
He's good and he's solid.
Just
For a young player, what's he played, Richo? 19 games.
It just slotted into that half-back role like he's been playing there for 10 years. He's a star.
And from what we understand with the Swans, if they've got a team message they need to get out to that back line about some of their structures, they'll go to Callum Mills. Unbelievably, in his first year, he just sees the game well, communicates it really well with his teammates.
Yeah, Tom Hickey looking like he's been involved a lot tonight. He looks sore. Leah read it well. Hickey's going to come from the ground. Doctor said, I think that's enough for you tonight, Tom. You've been banged from pillar to post.
On again.
Short ball in here.
Hold it.
Parker been impressive, leading possession getter on the ground with 29.
Play on.
Guy says go. Doctor asking
it.
questions. Tom said, yeah,
Right.
I've done a bit tonight.
Play on.
They've been busy, the Docs, on the Saints bench tonight, unfortunately.
Grundy, sliding handball to Cunningham. Missed Heaney on the lead. Savage, Armitage, Dempster, Montagna, standing start, high ball. Aliir could have gone, decided to stay down. It was a good decision in the end. Ball ended up with him, couldn't get rid of it though. Armitage to Jack Stephen, tries to shake him off onto Noons. Inside out slider, got it.
Nice finish there by Jack Noons. The Saints had to work hard for that one, but again it was the pressure, just coming back to the ball, surging it forward at times that got them the goal. They haven't been able to sustain it throughout the entire game, but the signs are there for St Kilda. They're playing against one of the strongest teams in the competition, the premiership favourites. In the years to come, they'll be able to sustain it.
Aliir, once he realised he didn't have much on, didn't really want it to come out. And then Noons with a bit of a class finish there. So St Kilda reel it back into 41 here. Bruce forced to do the ruck work in the absence of Hickey. Mitchell.
Me again.
Short ball finds Kennedy.
Back Shane.
So Joey Kennedy having a little run in the forward line. He's kicked goals in each of the last 6 weeks, which would please him as a midfielder. Almost a permanent midfielder, Joey, so he'd be wrapped with that.
Kennedy, he does kick it low, finds Hewitt with a bullet.
We on.
Been good this year. George Hewitt has played, this is game number 18. He's kicked the 12 goals. An excellent season.
We'll need to kick this 50 metres, maybe just under. And that's pretty good. That'll get there. No problems. Hewitt goals, 47-point Sydney lead.
Richo, so many positives from the Swans tonight. But this man here, Aliir, we mentioned before, he's perhaps the one keeping Teddy Richards out of the team. How have you seen his night?
Oh, he's just been outstanding. I mean, that's just going with McCartan on the lead, spoiling, keeping his feet, and then clearing it. Then that was the next play. That was the next entry forward, half of the ground, intercept, got it moving, makes the right decisions.
I love his composure.
Took a good one-on-one mark there against Bruce, so he's covered all bases there. I mean, hasn't had a heap of disposals, but everything he's had to do defensively he's done. When he's got the ball, he hasn't tried to overuse it. He's done the predictable thing with his decision-making, and he's a long-term defender, and that's the reason Teddy Richards isn't in the team, the veteran, because Aliir's probably keeping him out at the moment.
A good find for Sydney then, is what you're saying, Richo.
Yeah. They've found another one, like they always do.
Mitchell. Parker now. To Hanbury, run down, but still had the awareness to get rid of it. Trying to shake the tacklers off there. Couldn't even see who it was in amongst that, but they wanting to go on with it as well. Two St Kilda players nailing him to the floor. It was Papley.
Is a free kick going to be paid out of this?
And 50 metres.
So this will be a certain goal to Sydney. So Matthew Nichols and Nick Grewald talking there, and the umpire saying no, he didn't, to what Nick had to say. And this is what happened. Papley and Wright just a little nasty towards each other. Papley will finish with the goal. And Alan Richardson ponders as Sydney extend the margin out now to 53.
Well, here's the wrestle, and perhaps it's for Robertson's arm getting over the shoulder there. We don't know. I think that's what the free kick was paid for, and then a 50-metre penalty paid straight away. And I can only assume, looking at that footage there, it must have been for abuse to the umpire. And
so here's the other angle. That's the free kick. It's wrestling on there. The umpire will come in.
Well, I think Papley was as involved as the Sydney players were in amongst that. And Matthew Nichols was quite certain in what he'd seen, though.
Yeah, we're not out there, so we can't hear what's being said.
Hang on.
Unless we turn the mics up,
Parker.
then we can hear it.
sometimes it's best not to turn the mics up in that situation.
Yes, true.
A few fiery boys out there.
Robertson. Yeah, we've got someone on the handle of that. Kick out wide to Franklin now. This is well and truly within buddy range. Oh, gee. Tough call, but he's going to kick goal number 6 because he'll be on the goal line. He likes it. St Kilda supporters not so encouraging.
A little bit, maybe a little bit of frustration setting in for the Saints.
Franklin for goal number 6. No problems at all. Just getting a little edgy here, both teams at the moment. Let's have a look at this in its entirety, Richo.
So there's the pass coming into Franklin, marks it on the chest. And
Gee, there's not a lot there.
defenders have to have some sort of attempt to spoil.
That is...
And that is...
Sorry, but that's not 50.
That's not 50. If it's late...
It's fingers.
If it's late, it's 50. That wasn't late. He has to try and do something to Franklin. It wasn't a violent push. I don't think that was 50.
Franklin doesn't either.
But he won't argue. He's smiling. He's loving getting the 50. And that's why, because he's nearly up to Josh Kennedy now.
Yeah, closing in on the Coleman. Tough to win a Coleman. Out of the middle they come.
Dangerous tackle. Downfield.
Against Weller.
No.
They do have North.
Dangerous tackle here.
Kieran Jack's ball. They do have North Melbourne next week. The Swans BT has kicked a bag of 13 against North Melbourne, buddy. So maybe he's still eyeing off that Coleman big time.
Mancuvis looking for Heaney. Heaney marks.
Tough to win a Coleman, BT.
Very tough.
That's a line.
Richo.
How tough.
Not many have won one. Heaney.
Did you?
Lines up, 45 metres out. I could ask for a raise of hands in here, but sure I'd get many. Short ball, McVeigh.
Marks here. 50 metres.
Oh, boy.
Oh, this is getting out of hand now.
Now, is this umpire Matty Nichols just trying to insert his influence in the game, or is it genuine? Was that an abuse situation on Robertson?
It was for walking over the mark, BT. We'll have another look at it in a second, but it wasn't an abuse one this time.
Back on.
McVeigh will go back and make it 4 in a row from Sydney. They now lead by 65 points.
And the last 3 from 50-metre penalties.
So this wouldn't please Alan Richardson and the coaching staff. The discipline aspect of this is not something that he would be impressed with. Let's have a look.
Smart kick here by Isaac Heaney. Saw McVeigh inboard by himself.
McVeigh pointing to the ground. Did you see that?
And I reckon he was getting in behind the umpire deliberately.
And Dylan Robertson has just kept walking past the mark there. Went 2 or 3 metres past it. Fair call, it was there.
That was just a bit silly from Dylan. He's just frustrated. He wanted to play finals. The Saints aren't going to win, and the frustration's boiled over.
Hands here. Sorry, Billings it was that ran past the footy. Kennedy keeps the arms
High
through too
contact,
high.
Sydney.
Immediately handball out there to Lloyd. Lloyd to Cunningham, Cunningham to Smith. They load up and go forward. This is a great time to be playing football up forward if you're a Sydney Swans, because you get the feel you're going to get in the mix of some goals here at the moment. Papley fighting hard, got Montagna, let him go, bowled over Mitchell. Handball comes out, Hanbury, top of the square. Naismith running back, fingertips on it, couldn't reel it in. Now Dempster. Akers. Stephen, clever. Well, little Ross. Weller again, shakes Aliir. Akers through the eye, diddle. Minchington didn't have the strong hands.
High contact, Sydney.
Advantage paid. On to Mitchell. Out the back door. Lloyd. On to Hanbury. Hanbury will look for his mate Buddy. Deliberately stuck it in the air. He deliberately measured the ball over the top because he wanted Buddy to get a piece of it.
Yeah, great call, BT. That's exactly what Dan Hanbury did then. His St Kilda opponent actually had the front position on him, so he knew that if he speared it in, it was going to be cut off. He looped it over the top. Clever kick.
Buddy hoping all leads dry up here. He's going on the drop pump, which is a surprise. Thought he might have gone to the left Nana, and that's across the face, and almost an impossible option there.
You have to admire the Saints for the first half that they put together, but it's somewhat unravelling now, and more concerns down on their injury bench with Tom Hickey. Saw that big collision at the start of the quarter. He's gone down and he's doing the concussion test. So Sam Fisher down there with him as well. Looks like those two boys are done for the night for the Saints.
Crowd of 33,000 here tonight, 33,059. For the Pride game. Rewalt. Ball to Savage. Can they just regain their composure here, the Saints? Moons. Out wide to Dempster. Dempster down the line. Gives Aliir a chance to come over the top of Montagna. And throw it in the neutral wing. Joey Montagna tonight, 23 touches.
I said earlier, Josh Kennedy had a reasonably quiet night, BT. He's up to 32 disposals, 24 handballs for Josh Kennedy. He's going to get another one here. He just keeps finding the footy.
Kennedy. It is interesting with Sydney, isn't it, that they can add Tippett to this side next week. Sam Reid, Marsh, who's one of their emerging young players, is very close to selection and emergency tonight. They've got a bit of depth.
Sam Reid had the operation today, I think it was, but they're still hopeful that they'll get him back for finals time on his sore Achilles.
It's going to be a couple of stiff players if they want to get Tippett and Sinclair back in the next few weeks.
Well, it's going to be Nankervis. I mean, Naismith probably stays in if Tippett comes, doesn't he, as the #1 ruckman.
But if Sinclair comes back in as well, there's
the two
both
big
of them
boys. You know, they've done nothing wrong, but they didn't understand the situation. They've shared it well tonight, the ruck, those two.
Beautiful palm down there to Hanbury, who had a ping.
Another big night for the Sydney Swans star, Dan Hanbury. He's had 34 disposals and kicked a goal as well.
Josh, hold the
Some of their absolute stars have got going. As I said, Kennedy's up to 35, Hanbury 34, Luke Parker's had 30 and kicked 2 goals. Buddy's had a huge night. Their top end is just so good, the Swans.
Papley. Aaliyah. Rampy. Charging down again. Here they come. They line up over the top. Dempster off hands. Rowan wanted a piece, but high tackle. Free kick, Parker.
Sydney. Thank you.
So Parker will line up. Buddy Franklin, 67 goals this year. This is the 9th year that he's kicked 61 or over, which is the 5th most by any player, joining the greats of Coventry. Lockett, Dunstall too have achieved it multiple occasions. Coventry, in fact, 13 occasions that he's done that. Pretty good consistency, isn't it? As Parker comes in and nails the goal. 72-point Sydney lead, so this is the 3rd blowout this year for the Saints.
So those big 3 in the midfield, Kennedy, Hanbury and Parker, all over 30 disposals, all with goals against their name. Parker with 3. Gee, that's a worry, isn't it? Going into the finals for their opposition.
Their A grade is
Just do it
simply unbelievable.
Yeah, just do it week in, week out, they do.
Well, John Longmire, he was frustrated at times throughout the night, but he's got to be happy with their second half. The run home against North Melbourne in Tassie and Richmond at the SCG to finish it off. They are primed for a premiership tilt.
They've conceded 68 points tonight. Sydney are conceding 66 points per game this year. This is their lowest ever after 19 home and away games in their history. There have been 55 seasons with at least that many games in it. So they've kept them to 69 here now. So they're right on what they've done all year.
Yeah, elite defence, and they're kicking 140 points. So that's the premiership window, isn't it, Lenny?
Get on now.
I've never looked through that window, so I don't know, but you do.
You're right, the balance between the two. We've seen you've got to be very good defensively, but you can't be totally defensive.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to score. Sydney can do that. They've got the contested ball machines in the middle of the ground, and they kick goals.
Gresham goes inside. Big collision with Membry and Mills. Off hands, Ross. He too gets it deep. Aaliyah reaching over the top.
Hold that, hold that. Thought it was a mark. Come back 2 metres. That's it. I thought he marked it. Line.
Well done by Aaliyah. Finds Smith.
Play on.
Mr. Consistency Smith. Here's Richards.
He's a crowd favourite. Every time he goes near the footy, the Swans fan get up and about. I think they've got their new cold hero at the Sydney Swans.
And here's another hero, Buddy. Manoeuvred out of the way there by Gilbert.
Buddy's had 27 and kicked 6.
Just looking at the stat sheet there, Richo. Luke Parker's had 31 and kicked 3 goals and been brilliant. And yet he's not going to be the best man on the ground because of one Al Franklin.
I don't play Supercoach, but I think that's going to be a good score.
Play on.
He would have done that a few times, probably. 27 and 6.
No,
boy. No, says Richo.
let's not get into that sort of stuff.
Grundy out the back door here.
Not 15. Play
A
on.
real modest
Play
operator.
on.
Wills. There's Richo. Here's Smith. Making it hard there was Minchington. And there's Paddy McCartan, the Spider-Man. Started strongly tonight, Paddy.
You mentioned Nick Smith before, BT. Mr. Consistent. It's players like him and Dane Rampy and now Aaliyah. They're the ones who really get the job done down back. Just solid. You know what you're going to get every single time. Callum Mills now like that allows the Sydney A-graders to go to work. They can really attack with confidence because they know they've got a defensive structure behind it that is going to clean up if things aren't working perfectly.
Towers spun out with the ball. Billings, who hasn't had his best game tonight, has he? Just the 11 touches at Billings. One of their young guns, one of their better users of the footy. Parker, third man up. Nankervis muscled it to Mitchell. In front is Dempster, should mark.
Push!
Big
See Kilda!
Buddy's going to do something tonight he's never done before, I reckon. His best ever is 28.
28 touches.
So I reckon he's going to get to 30.
Richo going out on a limb, given the fact he's at 27 with 6 minutes to go.
He's going to have 30.
Okay.
And he's never done that. So he's done most things, but has never had 30.
You, mate.
Right. Looking deep. Akers. Sucker out of the way by Towers. Lloyd, handball back to Akers. Right on the boundary line, kept it alive here. The little one to Bruce, under pressure. Gee, got one in the back there, probably Bruce.
All clear.
Concede the behind.
Yeah, you're right, BT. Straight in his back there, Heath Grundy. Missed a free kick. It's not going to matter to the overall result of the game, of course, but I'm sure Josh Bruce would have loved to have kicked another one.
Good grab from Lee Montagna. Finds Billings, here's that left foot and misses. Mills.
Callum Mills now, he's up to 25 disposals off half-back. We've raved about him tonight. Reads the play well. Part of a back six now that's so organised. They run well off half-back. They've got Jared McVeigh and Lloyd running there with the good ball users. It's a complete team, this Sydney Swans team. There's a reason why they're the premiership favourites.
Well, Johnny Longmire's just left Buddy back now as the deepest forward.
Okay, so if they can get it out the back, here's Savage. Off the top to Noons. Goes long, here's an opportunity for O'Leary. Up goes Rewalt, knocks it down. Mills in there. Didn't have the footy, Mills.
Hold the man.
So free kick will go his way.
No, the ball just bounced off him.
That's Matty Nichols explaining to Paddy McCartney what happened.
Play on.
Paddy McCartney. And Grundy. So the fizz has gone out of this one. As even Sydney are looking to wind down time, but still just over 4 minutes remaining in the game here. O'Leary took possession. Memory just went and took it out of his hands. Now gives it on to Armitage round the corner. McCartan traps it under the legs and happy to force the ball up. So Sydney ultra impressive. This is their 4th win in a row. Won 5 of their last 6. North Melbourne and Richmond to come. And this year have had losses to Adelaide, Richmond, GWS, the Dogs and Hawthorn. All of those except one. The top 8 sides. Weller had the ball smothered.
It's been tough for the Saints tonight. They started off so well. The first half was magnificent, but then Fisher and Hickey got injured. That switched around everything. Fisher was set for Franklin. They wanted Dempster and Gilbert to come third man in, so it did change a lot. Hickey wasn't able to get his hand on it and have an influence around the ground. And
how's the way Parker kept the arms free then? Out wide to Buddy. There's another one ticking over, Buddy.
So that's
28.
That's 28, equal career high.
Okay, so one more for Buddy. Something that he's never done before.
He's ticked most things off, Buddy, in life, I reckon, but he hasn't ticked off 30.
Richards has an opportunity here. Tough kick, as we know. Heavy left to right slide here. Bit of advice from the friendly foe, just over the fence. Beer in one hand, advice flowing freely. And there it is, good kick, tough kick, made it look easy. 76 points.
Well, as simple as that from the pocket. He did make it look easy, BT.
Yeah.
Fantastic goal. And Buddy Franklin, as you said, up to 28 disposals. He's a great field kick too, Buddy. We know he's good at the goal kicking, but he just put it out nicely in front of Richards there. And great set shot. Well, what a second half they have had, the Swans.
Beautiful drop.
It's a good technique, isn't it? Didn't even look like missing.
Happy to. Richards. Back to the middle we go. 3.25 a minute. Nice tap down there by Nankervis to Mitchell. Akers. Stick the tackle, Sydney. Goes long and high. Here they come, McCartan and Rewalt. The 2 big boys are in there, but Mills. Up to Mark.
Lingy, as you said, it's been a big second half by the Swans, and they're not a team that backs off in the second half. For the third time this season, they've kicked 80-plus points. 6 other sides have only been able to do it once. So just a powerful professional outfit, this Sydney Swan side.
That's got to give them confidence finals time. If it is close or they do get behind, they know they can score big, Walshy.
Now, if Buddy gets his career-high possession down there, Walshy, he's on 28 at the moment. He needs one more. You're going to go and just ask him whether he is aware of that.
He's my man. I will be straight out beside him and kick back. 15 touches and 3 goals in that third quarter. I thought that was a big lead. If he gets the 30, it's a big game for him, Buddy.
That's a good night out, isn't it? Well, 15 and 3. He had that in 1 quarter.
Yeah, I think that was my career tally. So he's had a great night, Buddy.
Just flicking through the career highs for Richo, 29. Now Buddy on 28. Rewalt comes back, snags the goal. 2 minutes remaining. 76-146.
So Rui's put together a solid night again. 24 disposals. That's his first goal tonight.
He's worked hard, hasn't he?
Yeah, he always does. That's his trademark.
Buddy just having a little chat there. I think when you've had 30 possessions and kicked 6 goals, you can pretty much say whatever you like out on a footy field.
Yeah.
I reckon he's got a different attitude to the way he attacked the first 3 quarters of his career, Nick Rewalt. He's won everything. He's won best and fairest. He's done everything you can do. Yeah. I think he's much more now a sharing player and willing to get others involved and coach people along and drag them along with him now than he's ever been.
I think he's loving being part, I guess. He's been nearly to the summit with St Kilda, so close.
I reckon that's credit to Alan Richardson and the coaching staff down there that have been able to get him to come along in a different sort of way and provide something different than he's done.
Because with the new coach coming in, as an older player, an older superstar like Nick Rewalt, you can feel threatened. Is this new coach coming in to finish me off and just bring all the young blokes through? And you can get a bit selfish in that situation, but Nick Rewalt has done the right thing. He's nurturing Paddy McCartan and the young St Kilda players.
He's embraced going up the ground.
St Kilda.
Absolutely he has. For the benefit of the team, Richo.
Yeah.
And so some good signs there, I reckon. He'll play again next year.
It'll prolong his career doing the new role as well.
Minchington, high footy.
Because he's not having to jump with 2 and 3 defenders and get bashed around quite as much.
Mitchell. Lloyd. There is Nankervis and now Rampy. Certainty for the All-Australian. Lingy.
Well, Richo and I both can't comment on that one.
Well, if I can't ask you to, Welshie. Is he a certainty?
Oh, he's a certainty, absolutely. I'll put him in there for you, boys.
Talk about you two towing the party line. You're paid to supply expert comments. He's on demand.
He's every chance, Brian.
Very good. He's been impressive. He and Parker.
He's had an unbelievable year.
The likelies out of this team. Buddy, I guess.
Well, so many of them, BT. Throw in Dan Hanbury, throw in Josh Kennedy as well. That's what they've been able to produce this year, the Swans. They're A-graders, they're quality players.
Gee, they're tight-lipped, the All-Australian selectors, but I believe they're very, very loose meetings. And led by Spud Frawley. Down the line they go, looking for Rewalt. Mills in front here. This is going to be a massive, massive win for Sydney. A 70-point thumping, a second half 70-point thumping, because St Kilda were brilliant in the first half. But Sydney came in the third quarter with the first 5 goals. They went from a 5-point lead to a 34-point lead in 10 minutes of footy. Game over. Sydney win. Consolidate second spot on the ladder. And they are a genuine contender.
Cheer, cheer the red and the white. Honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high. Shake sons will go in and win overall, while our loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
Ah, yes, they're enjoying it thoroughly. Let's get down to Walshy. He's with Buddy.
Thanks, BT. Well, Buddy, big game and another big outing from yourself. 6 goals. It was a good outing.
Yeah, it was a good team effort. They came out and pulling that first half and really had a crack against us, so we were up against it. We had to come back out at half-time and really dig in, and we were able to kick straight, I think, 23-8, so usually win games if you kick straight like that.
You'll have to tell us what you did at half-time. You come out there and lit the place up, 15 touches, 3 goals in the third quarter for yourself.
Yeah, sometimes you don't get into the ball when you're a little bit deeper, so it was nice to get up the ground and get a few touches and get into the game, and yeah, it was just super to get the win.
And they were always going to come out and challenge you guys. There was a lot of play, top 2 spot, and now North Melbourne next week's another big challenge.
Yeah, both clubs had a lot to play for tonight. Saints obviously playing to get in the finals, and we're playing to get in that top 4. So yeah, we're really happy with that win tonight. And then we've got North Melbourne down Tassie next week, so that's going to be another massive game for the footy club. We'll look forward to it.
Go and enjoy the win, mate.
Just 3 goals behind Kennedy in the Coleman races, Buddy Franklin.
Yeah, outstanding from Buddy tonight. And you know what, BT? He's very, very modest, Buddy.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
After a game, when you talk to him, he never, ever wants to pump himself up. It's all about the team, and he's always been like that, Buddy. He had a sensational game tonight.
Just an absolute superstar. That is the ladder as it stands, as we stand here. Sydney consolidating that second position on the ladder. Healthy percentage as well. St Kilda just about done, still mathematically a chance, but I would think done for all intention purposes.
Oh, they'd have to have humongous wins and hope that other results go their way, but you never know, But vital win tonight, top 2 for Sydney, home finals at the SCG. It'd be hard to beat, so a good result.
Soak up the atmosphere with this team here, Sydney. The all-conquering 23-8, 146. Sydney 11-10, 76.
This has been a Fox Footy presentation, part of the Fox Sports Network.